Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Train Simulator Classic, aka Railworks. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new model from Trains, or not, I almost made the same mistake. Today we're going to be taking a look at a model from The Forge. Now, any of you that have been watching my channel know that I do videos on trains as well, and there's the Trains Forge. This is not the same people. This is The Forge for Train Sim Classic. It's not the first time I've looked at some of their stuff. It's just been a hot minute. Some of my earlier videos, but maybe it's quiet over here. These guys are loud. Not really, but I was recently informed that there was a new pack from them that had dropped. I didn't know they had a new website and all kinds of stuff. So of course I had to go check it out because I have a bit of a soft spot for German locomotives, or especially German steam. Not so much the electric diesel era. As most of you know, it doesn't really float my boat, but I got a soft spot for German steam locomotives. I think they look really neat. And credit where it's due, Germany has really kind of gotten the short end of the stick from TSC. When Railworks was still in its very early days, that was really one of your three countries. It was either the US or England or Germany. And truth be told, Germany really never took off. To this day, they really don't get the best routes. They don't get much variety in rolling stock. So you gotta go to the third-party places to find some decent stuff for Germany. And some third-party places have some really neat stuff like this. This is payware. It's 20 pounds, so 22-ish US dollars, something like that. You will get 3 locomotives you will get 2 locomotives and a passenger car in the pack. These are the BR78 464Ts. An interurban commuter style locomotive. I don't believe these were I gotta pull up my notes again, but yeah, so these locomotives were not originally designed for the BR system. These were originally designed for the Prussian state railways as replacements for the Class T12s and the T10s. The locomotives were required to be able to run at 100 kilometers an hour in either direction, hence the tank locomotive design. So these locomotives can operate at pretty high speeds in either direction to limit the need to turn the train around or anything like that. So fun facts. Let's see. I believe the original build date is 1912 through 1927. A total of 500 and some odd were built. Oddly enough, these things soldiered on. A handful of these soldiered on until about 1975. It's a pretty long-lived steam locomotive in general, but a long-lived commuter locomotive at that. High-speed locomotive. High speed for Germany, but preserved. There are several T18s preserved. Or BR78s as one, as the pack is called. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notable locomotives that are preserved, and I believe 1 is operational. So that's pretty cool. pretty neat, pretty neat. So yeah, if you'd like more history on these, I'd highly recommend a quick Google search. So yeah, as I said, you'll get 2 locomotives in the back. You'll get a weathered and non-weathered variant. Really no other variations between them. To my knowledge, these locomotives did not change a lot during their years. When BR took them over, or DRG, DB, DR, yeah. When DR took them over, they were pretty much just reclassified. They weren't really modified a whole ton. So, I believe DB converted several Class 78s for push-pull running. And don't believe that is simulated on these models though, so I believe these are not those particular models, but you will get a pretty decent weathered variant. The weathering's not half bad. It's not my all-time favorite, but it's not the worst. And then of course the clean variant. And then you'll get a car, SID 27, something like that. A coach car. Inside, pretty bench seats. No model, bench seats. Not half bad looking cars either though. This is a really nice if you enjoy the historical stuff. It's a nice change from the usual modern day German equipment that we always get. But it goes along nicely with a lot of the interurban routes that we have. A lot of the German routes are interurban routes, or interurban freight routes. So these locomotives fit in very nicely in a lot of different places. These are advanced locomotives, so they're not the easiest thing in the world to drive. I do definitely recommend reading the manual for them. They do include an English manual, because it will take a second to figure them out. It's not easy by any means. Well, it is and it isn't, I should say. But let's pull up our notepad here before we dive off into these. We'll take a nice close-up of both of them. Very nicely modeled overall. Very nicely detailed. A lot of small details like the little warning labels and stickers all over the locomotives. The lettering looks really nicely modeled. It's nice resolution. You know, it's not all blurry up close, which is really, really nice. It's a nice detail for them to get. Even all this lettering down here is still very legible, which is something that unfortunately even today, models are pushed out today, and small lettering like this will be real blurry and low res. So it's really nice that they've done that. The texturing on the side, it's not my favorite. I get it's supposed to look like kind of sheet metal imperfections, but I don't think it plays well in train sim. It looks pretty good from back here, and then you get up close and it just kind of looks a little wonky in my opinion. So not my favorite there, but overall the modeling is really, really nice. A lot of nice detail on these, and you can see most of it because it's very bright red and gray on a black background. So like our brake rigging, We even have brakes on the front and rear trucks. The brakes on the drivers. Those are modeled. You can see all the rigging for it. So that's really, really neat. Of course, all the piping and such. Rivet detail. Actual rivets. Everybody knows how much that makes me happy. The footboard here, the wood footboard, a little bit low res. Not too terribly noticeable though. Looks pretty decent. The lights are some of the coolest things. They actually have an actual light bulb in them. Easily some of the best light models in game come from the Forge. All of their locomotives that I've looked at have had really, really nice headlight modeling. Of course, all the associated electrical wiring and such. Boy, don't we wish our computers were done up this nice. Now, our drivers don't really fit. I don't know what's going on with their clothes, but they don't quite fit. The drivers aren't, so yeah, the Henschel builder plates here, a little bit square, but not too noticeable again, unless you're up close on it. All the rivet detail on the tanks here, actual modeled rivets, which look really, really nice. Again, I love my modeled rivets. Now, I don't know if this is copper or brass tubing. The color makes me think copper, because it looks very copper. That looks like it would be brass. So, I'm going to say it's copper. It doesn't look half bad. Overall, it looks pretty decent. The brass looks pretty nice. Coloring looks nice. I do not like the steam. I definitely don't like the smoke. Cotton balls. Little cotton balls going everywhere. Not a fan of the cotton balls. Look at that. Yeah, look at those bolts. A lot of nice little details. Little details like that make me really happy. Fittings on the copper piping. Even got a rope runs into the cab to open the tanks. She's pretty cool. It's right there. I'm going to hop over here to the weather variant. So the weather variant is the same locomotive. There's no difference between the two outside of the actual weathering itself. The weathering doesn't look half bad. It looks like it's got a lot of coal dust all over the entire thing. Some watermarks here that, yeah, they're not my favorite. It is nice that if you place one of these down and don't turn it into a drivable model, it doesn't have smoke and steam pouring from it. Unfortunately, they still have caps. They still have characters in them, and a glow like the firebox is open, but it's not. Don't know what to tell you there. Oh well. Coal load, kind of meh. But yeah, the weathering doesn't look terrible. It's just not my favorite. I think it's kind of the red that throws it off, the red and the gray. I don't know why, it just doesn't look right, per se. That and the lettering is very noticeably white and clean. But it's still not half bad looking. So we hop on over here. We're going to jump in it. And we get a bunch of pop-ups. Injector and feed water pump off. Fireman's inactive because it does have an auto fireman if desirable. We are in complex mode. There's a simple mode for people that desire it. Ah, it's quiet. Inside the cab looks awesome. I'm a little sad. The doors here don't open, but oh well. It's not heartbreaking. Handbrake doesn't make any sound, but it does function. Of course, windows. I don't dislike the window opening sounds. I actually just discovered these earlier, but these do open the vents up on the cab roof. It's a nice little touch. There are a couple things you got to do to these to get them ready to run. And for one of those things, the air generator, the turbo generator, is not running. So you do have to wind it up. There is a different audio noise. And it is a proximity sound, which is really cool. So it does get louder when you get up on the generator right here. It does turn the steam on and off when the generator is running or not running, which is a nice touch. The steam doesn't look that bad. Better than this, in my opinion. Back into the cab. Let's see, what else we get. We get the air pump, which you will have to turn on. You got to build your pressure up. Actually, I'm an idiot. Pressure's already built up. You got our injector, got our whistle, pressure equalizer. Now this is something important. We'll come back to it in a minute. Before we take off, this is something you will have to finagle, otherwise you will blow the cylinders. Of course, our reverser lock, our reverser, sanders, there's train brake, locomotive brake. The I don't know, I don't speak German, and the I don't know, I don't speak German parts. I assume that these go to the PZB, PFZB, something like that. That goes to the dead man switch warning for us Americans. That's what all of that mess is, I think. If I'm mistaken, do let me know. I don't read German. I don't know what it is. Some kind of little computer up here. We don't get to fiddle with it. Another one back here. We don't get to fiddle with it. Let's see. Anything else that we can tinker with on this side of the locomotive? I guess we could blow the whistle. It's not bad. It's got a lot of wind noise in the background, but it's not bad. You guys know how I don't like the tune, the long, drawn-out tunes. I prefer to be able to play the whistle myself. But the actual audio is not bad. There's no crackling or missing or anything. So it's not horrible. It's not bad, not bad. I do believe that is it. I guess I could turn the sander on for giggles and squiggles. The sanders do function. I believe that was the rear. Yeah, so that was the rear. Pretty typical sand. Come over here to the center. Our straw pump. What that goes to, I have no idea. And it's not explained really in the manual either. Just, you know, that it's there. I'm sure I could find out if I actually took the time to do some research. But I just got home from school a minute ago, so we're doing the video right now while I have a breathing moment, because when I get back up to get busy again, because I have a gun that I need to work on, I won't have time to do the video. So future me problems. But I don't know what the straw pump is, but it is indeed functional for anybody that knows what it is. Let's see. Steam heater. This does and doesn't function. So as long as you're using coaches from the forge, it does, at least for these cars in particular, but I'm pretty sure it goes for all of the coaches from the forge. But for the SID 27s in general, it does push steam into the cars, and it does eject steam in the proper places. Per the manual, the steam heating valve can now be operated using the mouse if using appropriate passenger stock by Polygon Zug. It will enable steam heating particle effects on the coaches. There is no simulation beyond the visual appearance. So, you know, it's just kind of one of those extra things that you can tinker with. We will look closer at the coaches in a little bit. Of course, we got a blower, feed pump. We don't get any of that. It does have a simulated water glass, sight glasses. So going down the tracks, these will wobble up, down, all the way around. Builder's plates. Of course, the throttle. Can't forget the throttle. This is kind of low res here. Not a huge fan of that compared to the rest of the Locomotive. It just kind of stands out, but it's not horrible. Of course, we got our dampers down here, and then our firebox doors. The fire. It's a fire. It's definitely not my favorite by any means at all. But simply opening the firebox enables the firemen to start shoveling, so that is kind of a nice thing. Instead of, you know, being stuck with a keybind, I do like it. But it doesn't shovel by the shovel full. It just automatically starts going up if you open the firebox doors. Yeah, we hop over here to the fireman side. I'll get the words out in a minute. Words are hard. But over to the fireman side, there's not really much that you can tinker with, which kind of makes me sad because I don't see the tender injector or the water injector. Get the pump. So this is a feed pump. On the injector valve that's over there, but I would assume that there would be one over here as well. Like that. But there's not. So you can't tinker with any of this over here. Which, nah, oh well, whatever, I guess. I don't read German. Of course, the window again. And I believe that's it as far as the things that we can tinker with inside the Locomotive. And of course, we turned on the power, so we have our cab light, which actually doesn't murder my frame rates. Quite nice. I assume that's the light. It's a light. And of course we got our headlights. I love the headlights. Those are awesome. Absolutely love those headlights. And then, of course, they can also go red. Oh yeah, absolutely love those. Easily some of my favorite lighting in game right now. So, pull this up, because we do have a passenger view inside the coaches. Inside the coach, we have the lighting, but they're not lit. Sad times, but whatever. Inside, it's not the worst, not the best. It's just kind of meh. The texturing just kind of makes it look like it's sand everywhere. Oh, yeah, whatever. And then we do have a view out on the platform. On the end. We seem unnaturally short. Of course, other end of the platform. And then back in our seat. And the other seat. So that's nice. And then, of course, take a look at the coaches. Back here, they do, if it is the last car, it adds these little kind of end of train placards onto the car, which is really nice. The car overall looks quite nice. It is nicely done. Lots of 3D parts. They did not skimp out. See, I'm all for this. I don't mind getting, you know, one single car and one single locomotive with a couple different paint schemes, if there's a lot of time put into the actual model itself. I really like these. These are nicely done. These have a lot of bits and pieces. They're not just flat objects with 2D textures slapped on them. They look really nice. Like that brace right there. It's an actual model. Something approved by DTG would be flat with a texture board over it. So I like it. I really do. It looks pretty good. Nice undercarriages. It's overall nice cars. So, back into the cab, because everybody wants to hear this thing move. Let's be sure our tracks are set so we don't run into anybody or anything in a way we don't want to. That's not putting us the direction we want to go. There we go. That puts us out on open track, I believe. Yeah, that puts us out on open track. So, I pointed out this equalizer here earlier. To operate, this equalizer has to be pushed back. If I remember correctly. If I read that correctly. Of course, you gotta open your cylinder cocks before you take off. The E key to push your cylinders where you want them. Or to pick your direction. I don't know why I said that. Kill your brakes. Turn your pump on. Build it back up to 8 pounds. Should be running right there. I think, if I remember right, that's running. Lock our reverse gear. I don't know if the brakes actually function. But anyway. Start cracking open the throttle. Do gotta wait on it to build up. Takes a second, as you can see right here. I'm not a big fan of the steam particles. They don't do it for me. The smoke is alright. It's not the worst. It's not the best that I've seen. Like right here, you definitely see the cotton balls right here. but the actual particles themselves look pretty decent. The reverser does physically operate, as you can see. And if the throttle is open, it will absolutely outrun you. So you do have to drop the pressure out of the cylinders before you try to tinker much with the reverser. But it does physically function. It does actually move, as you guys saw. And if you try to move without pulling this equalizer back, it will blow steam out of the top of the cylinders, which I will demonstrate in a minute after we get done with our little test run here. We don't want to blow them out just yet. There we go. Do have a nice little speedometer right here. It really does sound quite nice. I like it. Whistle doesn't sound bad outside. The J key will play a different tune. So that's the J key. Shift B will turn the bell on. Well, you can click on the injector, but you can't physically do anything with the injector. Same for the pump here. I don't know why that is. Injector's steam valve is automatic. I see. The injector water feed, shift plus I. Nah, I'm not getting anything. Order feed pump, shift O. Yeah, the keybinds I'm not getting anything out of, so I assume that they don't function by the keybinds. It might have something to do with the automatic fireman. I don't know. I've not had the automatic fireman kick on, so... let's see, pressure equalizer, that's what I wanted to read about. Steam locomotives of the 78 series still have a pressure equalizer which must be operated manually. If the lever points in the direction of the smoke box, the locomotive is in idle. If the lever points in the direction of the coal bunker, the locomotive is in load. As long as there is no pressure in the slide box, the pressure equalizer should be set to idle, and the control system should be set completely in the direction of travel. If you now want to give power again, you must first move the pressure equalizer to load run position, then lay out the control to the desired position, and then open the regulator. If you open the regulator too early and the pressure equalizer is not yet completely closed, it will tear it open again. In this case, the regulator must be closed again, and you have to wait until the pressure in the slide box has reduced. It should then be possible to close the pressure equalizer. So that's how that works. So now we need brakes, because we're coming to the end of the line. So it'll start giving us some brakes here. We'll start slowing down. Put it here to hold. Control Shift R will activate the automatic fireman. So now the automatic fireman is active. Now we have stopped. So, as I said earlier, I would show you guys what happens if you try to take off with this thing up here. That's enough. Killer brakes. I don't think the pumps physically move. Just starts pushing steam through them. But that is the sound of the water pumps. That's closed. And if you start pushing steam in, you end up with this cloud. It's quite entertaining. Brake sounds aren't half bad. You can operate again. But that is that. Anywho, let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing? Press K to turn on the water feed to the injector and feed pump. Turning off the injector and feed pump procedure is reversed if you are operating without the F4 HUD. Ah, see? It would help to read, wouldn't it? Lights in the driver's cab and the coaches can be switched on with the L key and will turn on with the lights for the cab controls. Well, I didn't see them on the coaches, but oh well. Maybe I'm crazy. But anywho, that is that, guys, from the Forge Simulations, the BR78 or Prussian T18. Awesome locomotive, 100% worth the money. I've had a lot of fun with it for the last couple of evenings. it has been a really neat one to tinker around with. It sounds good, it runs good, it looks good. It's really hard to go wrong with it. So if you're looking to increase your German stock, I highly recommend checking it out. But yeah, so as always, link in the description, and I will see you guys next time.